Today I am so excited to be able to share with you some more Dollar Tree DIYs. All of these I created for winter. After putting away Christmas, I definitely felt like I needed a few more decor pieces in my house because it felt so bare, and these are a few of the pieces that I came up with. I have never decorated for winter before, and I am loving doing so this year. Hi, welcome. My name is Jennifer and this is a little bit of Common Crazy. If you are new to my channel, I hope that you will hit that subscribe button. If you enjoyed today's video, please give it a big thumbs up, and let's go ahead and move on to today's project. First project, I have a tall candle from Dollar Tree and some scrapbook paper. This is the birchwood paper from Hobby Lobby. I always get it for $1. So for $1.25, you can get a beautiful faux wood candle. All you have to do is take your scrapbook paper, you're going to trim it down so that it can fit perfectly onto the candle. Now, after that, you're just going to need some double-sided tape. So I have a couple of different tape runners here that I have on hand, but just some regular double-sided tape will work just fine. It's whatever you have, or you could even use like the little glue dots that you can pick up at Dollar Tree as well. And you're just going to make sure that you place down your paper on to the candlestick first, and then you're going to wrap it around and then stick paper to paper. I like to go in with some scissors and just kind of trim down a little bit, making sure first that my paper is even where it meets up, but also making sure that my paper is below the glass. Just for safety, I don't want the flame to be burning and somehow, the flame to get onto the paper. It's as simple as that. And once you're all done, you have a beautiful candle. For project number 2, I am taking a hurricane vase and one of those microfiber cloths that you get into the automotive section at Dollar Tree. To create my little winter vase, I am taking my microfiber cloth and I need to cut the length of the cloth. As you can see, my width has already been cut just a little bit because I used it in a previous project. Honestly, that's not even important. After I have it kind of eyeballed, measured out, I use my rotary cutter in order to cut that. You can go in with a pair of scissors. I just think a rotary cutter gives you a straighter edge. In order to secure this, I am using some hot glue and applying that to the edge of the vase and then to the edge of the microfiber and then onto the vase. And then for a little bit more structure and security, I am applying that around the bottom of the vase and then adding hot glue and securing fabric on fabric, and that will keep everything nice and secure. And then I just tuck that extra fabric straight into the vase. That will cover up any of that glass because I didn't want any of that glass to be shown. And then you can go in with some nice, beautiful winter picks, and I think this is just absolutely beautiful. For my third project, I'm using some of these wood pieces that you can pick up near the floral section at Dollar Tree, and I am picking out a larger size, a medium size, and a smaller size. Once I have my 3 pieces, I use some hot glue in order to attach them and start creating my snowman. To dress up my snowman, I took a piece of ribbon and I cut it first into a rectangle and then I fold it in half and cut it into a triangle. Now that part is going around the base of his head, and I took some hot glue in order to secure that down. And then I continued using hot glue in order to fold over the ribbon and create like a cone shape all the way up to that very top. After that, I just folded the hat over onto its side and used a little bit of hot glue to secure that down to get that little hat shape. Well, he definitely needed a scarf, so I went back in with my ribbon and I cut the length that I needed, and then just cut out first the wire out because I did not want wire in my scarf, and then just 2 more little sections of that scarf. I wrapped it around. There you just see I'm trying to take out some of that texture, some of that stiffness. That's the word I couldn't think of that. So I kind of just wadded it up. So I'm just going to use a little bit of hot glue in order to hold that around his neck. And I think that is so cute. But of course he needed some arms. So I just went out to my yard and grabbed a stick in order to give him some arms for free. And I just cut off a couple of little pieces for that and also use some hot glue to secure those down. Now, in order to secure these down, I did find that I really had to hold it on until the hot glue set up and was completely set up so that they would stay, and they are nice and secure, and I think that he would make the cutest little ornament next year. Yep, already thinking ahead, but I think he is absolutely darling. For this next project, I am using some more wood pieces and a frame. Now, these wood pieces are a little bit longer and skinnier than the ones that I used in the previous project, and I am going to create a wood frame. So first, I'm going to map out where I want all of my wood pieces to go to make sure that I have enough wood pieces. Now, I did actually end up needing to use 2 bags, not complete 2 bags, but I did need to go into a second bag of wood pieces in order to create this frame. Once I had all my pieces lined up where I wanted it, I just went in with my hot glue gun and I started applying them straight onto the frame. Now, what's great about this is you can choose any frame that you want to. Now, be aware that the frame will show through, so I chose to go with a white frame and I was totally okay with that. Of course, you could always paint the frame. You can, if you need to cover the frame with something else, you're welcome to do that. I was okay with the white coming through. But I think that this is so cute and so woodsy, and I absolutely love the way it looks. If you have been around, you know that I absolutely love cake stands. And for just a couple of dollars, it is so easy to put one together. So here I have a bowl and a plate. And I'm just going to be removing the stickers off. I had to go in with my hairdryer to kind of get the adhesive off. You're going to use a little bit of E6000, place it on the bowl, set the bowl on top of the plate, and just let it set up overnight. Don't touch it. And there you have it, the easiest cake stand ever. This is so great if you are having any sort of parties. But if you're like me and you don't have room to do like a hot cocoa bar, this makes like a really cute stand to put things on. I love to be able to elevate things, and now I have a black cake stand that is perfect and it matches my winter decor. For this next project, I have this Merry Christmas. This didn't go perfectly well with my decor, and so I decided I would go ahead and repurpose it. Some of you may have this one, or there were a couple others from Christmas that you would like to repurpose as well. Now, my paper was peeling up on this, and so I decided to go ahead and do a technique that I have had several of you mention to me before, where I take a wet rag and I just put it on here, and I left it on here for about 30 minutes while I was doing some other things, and then I came back and I just scraped the paper off. And I show you here, first I'm scraping with my fingernails, and then I went in with a paint scraper, and then you see a paint mixer and then a paint scraper, and they all work just fine. It's just whatever tools you have so that you don't necessarily nick the wood. But I love when you guys leave me some nice little tips and tricks. So if you have any good ones for me, just leave it down in the comments below. Once you're finished scraping everything off, you do need to let it dry. And after I let it completely dry, I did go in with a 220 grit sandpaper and just did a real light sanding just to even it all out to make it nice and smooth. Once I had it nice and smooth, I decided to go ahead and paint it with Waverly's white chalk paint. This is one of my favorite chalk paints, and it's so easy to find because it's just at Walmart. And I decided to give the box a complete coating front and back. If you've been around, you know I like to have completed projects. Once my paint had completely dried, I'm going in here with vinyl cutting from my Cricut. But here you can see that I have some rub-ons and some stickers as alternatives. If you don't have an electric digital cutter, you don't by any means do I think that you need to run out and buy one. I have shown so many different ideas of how you can do projects without ever using like an electric die cutter. But I've had a Cricut for 10 years, and my goal this year is to actually use what it is that I have. And so I pulled out this bad boy and I decided I am going to use it. So as you can see, I am fidgeting with this probably a little bit more than somebody that pulls out their Cricut more often would be doing. And so just proof that I need to be pulling mine out. I hope if you have something that's been sitting around, maybe collecting a little bit more dust than it should, you will decide to pull it out and use it a little bit more. My goals this year, my Cricut machine and my sewing machine are the two things I want to work and work hard this year. Do you have anything that you plan on using a little bit more often? Let me know that. I would love to hear. Once I had my vinyl all placed on, I decided to go in with this 1-inch gingham, buffalo checked ribbon, whatever you want to call it, and wrap that around the box. So in order to secure that, I just use a little bit of hot glue, and I got that on. And I think that this turned out so cute. I absolutely love it. And now I'm excited to share with you my second Cricut project. Using the chalkboard sign from Dollar Tree, I wanted to create a double-sided sign. And so on the back side, I needed to paint it white. Well, I chose to paint it white because I wanted the contrasting color. But before I could do that, I needed a little bit of prep work. And there was some residue from the sticker. So just with a 220 grit sandpaper, I just went in and just did a real light sanding just to get rid of that residue. And then I could go in with my Waverly chalk paint in white. After I painted that white, I went in with Waverly's Wax and Antique. This wax has the most beautiful stain-like effect. I absolutely love it. And I'm using just a makeup sponge in order to apply it. It gives me really good control and it allows me to kind of buff it at the same time. So it's kind of like a 2-in-1. Such an easy way. I'm really loving using this technique, especially because I'm dealing with some smaller surface area and it gives me some more control. So here I'm attaching another vinyl that I got from my Cricut. This is just a free one that you can get if you have access. And I don't know what this vinyl is, but it is awful. That's all I can say. It took some work to get it down and then it didn't want to stay down. So if you ever get stuck with some awful vinyl that doesn't want to stay down, then all I did is I went in with some matte Mod Podge because that's my favorite. And I just put a thin coat on top of this. You can't even tell I used it, and now this thing is perfectly adhered. I was trying to use what I had, and this is what happened, but I made it work in the end. Now this one might actually be my favorite because it's probably the most true when it comes to me. I wasn't made for winter, and if you know me in real life, you 100% know that I am always cold. So I absolutely love this. I had to share it on Instagram already. It just makes me giggle. And I love, again, the white and black contrast on this. And this vinyl is so much better. It is definitely one of the best ones. And it went on like a breeze. I absolutely love the double-sided sign. I think it turned out so cute. I'm so glad that I pulled out my Cricut to make it. But don't feel like you need to have a Cricut to do something like this. I showed you the rub-ons, I showed you the stickers, and I've showed other ways in the past. You can print something out on your printer. There are so many different ways to make things like this at an affordable price and use what you have. Well, I happen to have another one of those Merry Christmas boxes lying around, and I picked up some scrapbook paper from Hobby Lobby again for $1. This time, I'm going to leave the paper on top of the box, and I have shown this technique plenty of times. I'm going to start off by just sanding down the glitter because the glitter is textured, and it just takes a real quick second to sand that glitter to make it smooth. So do that. I'm using a coarser grit sandpaper this time, just a 60 grit sandpaper. After you have smoothed that out, you're going to go in with a thin coat of Mod Podge and then just place your paper straight down. Now you can trim off a little bit of the excess if you want to, and as you can see here, I did that. Once the Mod Podge has set up, then you can take your same sandpaper and you can sand away from the edges, and that will give your paper the cleanest cut. Now remember, sand away, not towards your paper because it can lift it up. Sand away. If you do happen to lift it up, you can go in with just a little bit more Mod Podge right underneath it, and that will fix it super fast. I was inspired by a snowman that I picked up on clearance after Christmas from Hobby Lobby, and that is what I'm actually doing on this. And so I cut out a little triangle or a partial triangle, and I traced that out, and now I'm painting that with some orange acrylic paint here, as you can see. And I say partial triangle only because I had that curved edge and it's kind of long and not necessarily perfect because a carrot's not perfect, so I didn't want it to be perfect. After that, I'm trying to figure out exactly what I want to do for my dotting tool, and I practiced with different things, and I decided to go ahead and I have this little pouncer that you can pick up like at Walmart. They even have some at Dollar Tree. I don't know if they have one this small, and that is what I'm using in order to create the eyes. After that, I use a pencil eraser in order to do the mouth, and then I just kind of twist it and twirl it to make the different sizes because I didn't want all the dots to be exactly the same. I wanted them larger in the center and going just a little bit smaller as the smile lines go up. I think he is just absolutely adorable, and it was so easy to do, and snowmen just make me think of winter. If you have been around, it should be no surprise that I can never resist making a garland or a banner. I absolutely love them. And for this one, I have some buffalo checked ribbon that you can pick up at like Hobby Lobby, Walmart, any place like that. Some twine and some wooden snowflakes that I picked up at the Dollar Tree before Christmas. Now, these you can't get anymore, so if you don't happen to have them, I will leave a link for some that you can get on Amazon. To start off with, I'm just grabbing some white acrylic paint and a 1-inch brush. This brush comes from the Dollar Tree. I like it for what I'm doing. I'm kind of doing a dry brush technique. This is not a very stiff brush, and so this works really well for this. And I'm just going in with just a little bit of paint at a time. You will see I like to get messy, and I get it all over my hands when I do something like this. So if you're not one that likes to get messy, you could always put on a pair of gloves or, you know, maybe just be a little bit more careful than I am. Anyway, I do this to the front and the back. I am purposely making sure that I still let some of that natural wood show through. I do not want to completely coat these or coat these too heavy in any one spot. Once my snowflakes were completely dry, I went ahead and I took out my ribbon and I started cutting it to the length that I needed. And I just kind of eyeballed a length of ribbon that would match really well with my snowflakes. Now, because I only had 4 snowflakes left out of the 5 that were here, I knew that I wanted to cut 5 of the ribbons. I like to work in odd numbers. I think that is best, and so that's what I chose to do here. I'm just making a smaller garland or a smaller banner. This is so customizable. You can make it as big or as small as you would like it to be. So after I had all 5 of my ribbons cut out, I went ahead and I took one piece of the ribbon onto that center of my twine and I anchored that into the center, and that was my center point. And then I started tying the snowflakes onto the side of that, and then I placed a piece of ribbon on the side of each snowflakes and then continued to alternate it until I had all of my snowflakes and ribbons onto my banner. The thing I did was to give my ribbon a dovetail in by folding it in half and cutting up towards the center. I absolutely love these. Love this. It is so just cute. I never can get enough of a good garland. For my last project, I am using this love sign from Dollar Tree, and I wanted to create something that was versatile that you could use all year long. To start off with, I needed to remove the metal heart. Now, I will tell you, this sucker was really attached, and it depends on sign to sign. Sometimes you will find that they are really attached, and sometimes you might find just a little dab of glue. It is always so inconsistent, but with a little perseverance and a little bit of time, I just kept working at it, going around the edges, because I didn't want to damage the heart. Can absolutely reuse this in something else. I was able to finally get it off. Another bonus is I'm pretty sure I could have counted this as my workout for the day. After I got the heart removed, I did go in with a fine grit sandpaper and just did a really light sanding just to smooth it out. You want to be really careful because you don't want to peel up any extra paper. This is just to make things smooth. Once I had done that, I decided to go ahead and paint the entire sign black, and I'm using Waverly's chalk paint and ink in order to do that. Once the paint has completely dried, now it's time to go in and do some stenciling. So I have some stencils that I picked up at Hobby Lobby, but you can also get the stencils here from Dollar Tree. You can print off the letters off of your computer and cut them out and trace around them. You have so many different options. You don't have to necessarily have these, but I paid about $5 for the whole set, and it came with the letters and the numbers. So I'm going to trace out the word home, leaving the O blank, and that's where I'm going to be able to customize it for the different times during the year. Here you're going to see that I have a few mistakes to clean up as I go along. So I'm starting off using a paint pen, and you know, as you can see, it's kind of globbing up in a few spots. It's not going on super straight and clear, and this is why I have an issue with paint pens sometimes. They're not predictable. I appreciate that I can get a straight line when it works well, but if they don't work well, they just don't work well. And then this thing, in a minute, you're going to see it just completely explodes. So, yeah, no, nobody has time for that kind of a mess. And then I'm just trying to clean up and deal with it. It's streaky. And I'm even taking a paintbrush to try to thin it out. It's just not even worth it. So after that, I decide, you know what?
let's just pull out my Waverly chalk paint and white and move along. So I'm painting and I'm getting things done, but I'm a little bit shaky. Paintbrushes are a little bit messier. They're not as clean. And you know what? Not a big deal, because you can clean up paint. So I'm just going to get it done. I do 2 coats because chalk paint always goes on streaky the first time. Don't stress it. Just add a second coat. It'll look better the second time. And then once I was done, I went back in with the black paint. I fixed anything that I just smudged because I'm clumsy that way. And then I straightened up my letters so that it didn't look like a preschooler had painted these to begin with. And I think in the end, it looked pretty good. And so now it was time to go ahead and add my O. So for my O, right now I wanted to go ahead and use a snowflake. And I have some left over from Christmas time, but you can get some wooden snowflakes like I mentioned on Amazon, and I think that would look super cute in the center. And if you are like me and you still have some things lying in your stash, then pull one out and pop it in the center. I do suggest using some hot glue and some Velcro. You can get these Velcro dots or Velcro pieces, whatever, at the Dollar Tree as well. And that way it makes it really easy to change them out with other things, like this heart that I originally took off. You can do like an Easter egg at Easter time. You could do like a flag for 4th of July or a maple leaf if you're in Canada. I mean, there's so many different options that you can do to change this out all year long. I absolutely love this sign. I think it is so versatile. Enjoy affordable home decor. Here is a great video for you to check out. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.